If you love movies, you're in the right place, and that place is here at the Chronicle, the official film podcast for the people's movies. Welcome to episode 56 and our Oscar special. As ever, my name is Paul, I'm your host. I am the editor of the people's movies, and my co-host as ever is Clotilde Chinnici. How are you, Clotilde?
I am good, and how are you?
We're doing well, folks. The both of us have had a bit of a nightmare trying to get this episode recorded. It's been recorded just a little bit later than expected,
Yeah, it's been a
but
challenge.
it is. It's been challenging, but we're here now. That's the main thing. On the evening of this Sunday, which is the 15th of March, the red carpet will be laid out at the Dolby Theatre in Los Angeles when the Hollywood film industry's biggest will gather to celebrate the best films of the past year, better known as the 98th Academy Awards, aka the Oscars. So last month, the BAFTAs took place in London, and it was Paul Thomas Anderson's one battle after another. It came out on top with 6 awards, including some of the top ones like the best film and best director. The other big winners that night were Sinners, which I think won three. One of the surprising winners was I Swear, which starred Robert Arellano. I haven't seen that
Hmm.
film yet. That's get three. Chloe Zhao's Hamnet, which I think it was two. And obviously I Swear and Hamnet were the two sort of big British winners. So the BAFTAs for many years has been, many have considered it a bit of a tease and what to expect in the Oscars, which are always a few weeks later. But the question people will be asking, will it be Paul Thomas Anderson sweeping the board, or will it be Ryan Coogler's film that picked up a historical 16 nominations? With the awards history, horror films don't do as well, but as we know, Sinners isn't your straight up horror. It does offer a lot more. Battle, one battle after another. I think it's got 13 nominations. Thing is, will there be any surprises there? Could it be Martyr Supreme, Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, which I think they've all got nine, with I think Hamnet with eight. Clotilda, do you think the BAFTAs are any indication of what we can expect on Sunday night at the Oscars?
I think they tend to be with like a caveat in the sense that I found in the past few years that the BAFTAs tend to spotlight British movies a lot, as they should. They are the BAFTAs after all. But obviously, we find that quite a bit less with the Oscars, which is a shame. I think there's been a lot of cases when it's not just in that they have specific categories, as you know, for British films as well. But even with maybe best actor or best actress, they do tend to spotlight British talent, which, I think is wonderful. But a lot of the times the nomination vary a little bit as well. I remember even in past years there were films that didn't make it to the Oscars that the BAFTAs still nominated. So I guess yes and no. I think a lot of the major categories and the major players, yes. But when it comes to smaller films, I think they find a better place at the BAFTAs. Like you mentioned for I Swear, it's a movie that didn't really make it into the Oscars, but won Best Actor, which is really cool. So I think in a race like that, the BAFTAs are really changing the game a little bit and making it a little bit more unpredictable. But there are other races that we're not quite set. Like we'll talk about later, but Best Actress. And I think in that sense, the BAFTAs really does give us a preview.
I think the reason why I Swear it's not nominated. It's not released in the US
Yeah, that's
until the
true. No.
23rd of April. If you're here in the UK and you've got Netflix, it's just recently arrived on Netflix. So there is a chance to go and catch a film. I will be catching it. Clotilda, I still haven't seen it, so
Me
I
neither.
I think I'll switch on to Netflix. And it'll be less controversial than what happened in the actual BAFTAs, but we won't go in there. I think that's all been covered and who's to blame or not to blame. So I think every year's different, but some years are very predictable, and other years are too hard to predict. Nothing. I think nothing's really a foregone conclusion here. For award ceremonies that have been and gone say it is. Like I mean, you can go back to last year. The Brutalist was seen as a film which got the most nominations. I think it was about nine in the BAFTAs and about 10 in the Oscars. And I think it won about four BAFTAs, three Oscars. And also it gave us that very, very long, self-indulgent Adrian Brody winning speech. But as you know, for the Oscars, the build up, the start event is very, very long and very exhausting. There's always dark horses, and I think last year's dark horse was Anora. The BAFTAs, I think it won only two, but the Oscars it ended up winning five, and it winning some of the big awards, like the best film, the director, and the actress. And a bit like I think last year's I Swear type film was, well, it's not the same, but the film of Ray Fiennes, Conclave, which was obviously made one of our favourite films list, that won four at the BAFTA. However, it was already released in the US and it won one Oscar, so it does show that there is a bit of a difference. Folks, as you know, there's lots of nominations, and what myself and Clotilde are going to do, we're just going to maybe cover more detail the main categories, and then near at the end, I'll read them out, and myself and Clotilde will pick which ones we think may win or may not win. I'm going to put my hands up. There is some nomination films in there I haven't seen yet, but maybe over time I will get to see them. So let's get started. So let's just go for the first big one, and it's I think this is probably the one. It's probably the one in the cert. However, I don't know about you, Clotilde. I'm just thinking out loud the other day there when I was watching this year's BAFTAs and the reactions of some of the actors when a certain other actor won. I was thinking, wait a minute, do they actually know who's going to win the Oscars? It's just a crazy tinfoil thought there. I don't know about you. What do you think?
I actually didn't watch the BAFTAs this year. I don't know why. I usually do. Um, so I only heard about it like, the whole controversy as well. So I only watched the results and heard about it afterwards. I think there were quite a few surprises actually. Um, and I mean, same with the Golden Globes and the SAGs. I tend to watch them a little bit more. But I think this year I'm sort of like hoping to stay up for the Oscars, so I'm saving myself for that. But it was from what I have sort of caught up on, and I haven't seen the full thing. I think it was a really cool, well, not all of it. I think some of it was really cool choices and very surprising. Like you said, best actor. I think it's like for me, what's most fun during an award ceremony is when there are these surprises. Like it's not fun when everything is,
Yeah.
you know, obvious and we can expect it, I think. It's also for me made Best Actor a little bit perhaps less sure. I feel like before the BAFTAs, everybody was saying it's gonna be either DiCaprio or Timothée Chalamet. And I think after the BAFTAs and after the SAG Awards, we're not so sure anymore, but maybe that's just my impression.
Yeah. Right, so as the award we're going to go with third is Best Actress. I think this is the one that'll is probably a dead cert, but
Yeah,
I'll,
this is the like
y-
certain one, isn't it?
yeah, yeah. So the first one is the one I think will win is Jessie Buckley with Hamnet. The other contenders is Rose Byrne. If I had legs, I'd kick you. Emma Stone with Begonia, and Kate Hudson with Song Blue. I've written down here, and I think she never get voted. I might be wrong here. Was Chase
Mhm.
Affinity? Did Chase Affinity get snubbed? Did she get snubbed this year? I'm not
I
100%
actually
sure.
find it quite surprising that Kate Hudson got nominated. Not that like, it's not like it wasn't a good performance, but I think there were so many other names that I thought were a bit more prominent.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
quite a few people got snubbed, and for me, Amanda Seyfried definitely got snubbed. But I think there were other names in the conversation, and out of all of them, I don't know. I just didn't expect Kate Hudson to be there, and specifically because I personally really liked Amanda Seyfried's performance, and I think it was generally a movie that didn't get recognition, but we'll get onto that.
yeah, yeah. We're going to do a bit, folks. Some snubs and surprises as we go along here. So yeah, Jessie Butler, I think, is the one. She's a dead
Yeah,
cert. Yeah, she's definitely the cert. I
definitely.
haven't seen If I Had Legs, I Kick You.
Me neither.
Yeah, I've seen the others. One Butler after another, Chase Affinity. Apologies if she isn't in there. Emma Stone Begonia, I did not like that at all.
Me
I
neither.
I'm a fan of the Korean original, which is a
Hmm.
lot better. Which
I haven't seen it.
I believe it's either just about to get released by Arrow Video, or isn't.
Mm.
I have seen Kate Hudson in Song Blue. Yeah, it's surprising that she's been nominated for this, but it's nice to see an actress who's been doing this for a little while actually getting a nomination.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah, she was very good uh, in this film. It's a film that surprised me quite a bit as well. So, are we both going for Jessie Buckley, Hamnet?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's 100%. I would be very, very surprised if anything else happens.
Yeah, I really don't know who would be the actual second choice. I really don't know. Right, so we're going to the best actor. So we've got Michael B. Jordan with Sinners, Leonardo DiCaprio with one battle after another, Timothy Chalamet with Marty Supreme, Wagner Moura with The Secret Agent, and Ethan Hawke with Blue Moon. I'll let you go first. Who do you think will maybe win this
This is
one?
very tricky. I think, like, when was it? 3 weeks ago, before the BAFTAs, I would have told you Timothée Chalamet. And I think as the time grows closer to the Oscars, the more I change my mind. I haven't seen Marty Supreme, but I just feel like the conversation around it has shifted quite a bit, and especially around Timothée Chalamet himself. I think the BAFTAs, not win the BAFTAs, influenced it quite a lot because I think up until then it was sort of like head to head between Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio, and the fact that both of them essentially lost the BAFTAs makes it quite tricky to predict what's going to happen next. But the fact that the SAG award went to Michael B. Jordan, I think is very interesting. Um, yes, I don't know. I mean, maybe I am wishful thinking, but what if Michael B. Jordan wins? I think he had such a great performance in Sinners, and the Academy really likes Sinners. As we said, this the movie that had like most nominations ever, not just this year. I think it's a possibility that has become very real nowadays. And I think, although the Oscar window has now closed, but the recent comments that Timothée Chalamet made regarding ballet and opera, I don't think have made him quite popular in the Academy or in general with it seems to me the arts loving community. I think I'm not quite sure if the voting window closed the day that this came out or like the day after the day before, but if it hadn't closed by then, I think this is definitely something that would have influenced the voting. So I guess it's looking less likely. It's really hard to pick who I wanted to be is Michael B. Jordan. I think I'm gonna be safe with my prediction. I'm gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio because industry loves him. He's got an Oscar already. I think Timothée Chalamet, in terms of Academy, also has the fact that he's young. I think plays a bit against him. Again, Adrian Brody did win last year, but we know the Academy tends to prefer more seasoned actors. So my guess is Leonardo DiCaprio. What's yours?
Oof. Right, I haven't seen Secret Agent or Blue Moon. I know you've seen Blue Moon because we brought it up in the best films podcast, which is
Yes, I
still
really like
available.
that.
I have seen Marty Supreme. He's probably the best thing about the film. And a feeling of sort of after hours, Scorsese's After Hours, with the sort of chaos of Uncut Gems. It is that type of craziness. I liked the movie, but to a point, is it the best movie? The things in it to get it the nominations, I really don't know. Leonardo DiCaprio, as you said, he's a safe bet. He's Oscar favourite. I think he's like the male version of Meryl Streep. Anytime Meryl Streep was in an award, it was always a safe bet. She was definitely up there with the favourites. Michael B. Jordan was very good in Sinners, especially the challenge having to play a twin. I know, obviously,
Hmm.
it's all this sort of camera tricks they make it out to show the two of them are. He's on the. It looks like two of them are on the screen. That's not an easy thing to do. I'm really. This is the one I'm really stuck at.
Right?
The thing I was saying earlier about did you see the BAFTAs where sometimes I think do they already know who's winning in the Oscars? It's just a little thing. It was all to do with Timothy Chalamet's face when what was his name? Aramo won it for I Swear, the best actor, and he was like, he had that sort of smile on his face, thinking, "Yes, I've been beaten by a guy. He's not going to challenge me
Mm,
at the Oscars. Could this be my year?" You're right, but his age, he is very young. There's something I'm going to bring up later on about some fun facts that we've got. We got for a website, which he proves about his age and an Oscar nominated thing. I'm with you. I'm going to go Leonardo DiCaprio because One Battle After Another seems to be the award season favourites, the one that seems to be just picking up left, right, and centre. I know Sinners are picking some up, so yeah. So I'm Leonardo DiCaprio as well. So yeah, folks. Jessie Buckley, Best Actress for Hamnet, Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. So let's go into the supporting actress. So we have Tiana Taylor with One Battle After Another. We've got Amy Madigan with Weapons. Excuse my pronunciation in this one. Is Inga his daughter Lilias with Sentimental Value. Wumi Mazuku from Sinners and Ellie Fanning from Sentimental Value. Right, out of this, for I haven't seen Sentimental Value, but I would like to see it. I'm hearing
I mean, like,
a lot of good things, especially for Ellie Fanning. A lot of people saying she's very good in it, and a lot of people I'm noticing a bit like Timothy Chalamet. She's sort of grown up. She's grown up and matured over the years now, where the sort of performances that she's had, and a lot of people saying she's very mature, very good in Sentimental Value. I like Amy Madigan. Weapons. She was the best thing about Weapons, you know. Absolutely fantastic. Wumi Mosaiku, who is a British actress, and I remember, I think it was Casualty. She was Casualty in the BBC. She was one of the doctors on there. Tiana Taylor, I really, I really don't know about that one. The character she plays, she came across as a very determined, very aggressive type character, but I think that was the character she was playing, and if that was the character she was playing, she done it perfectly well. I'm going to go for Amy Madigan, Weapons. What about you?
again, tricky. I think from how the Golden Globes, BAFTA, SAGs have gone, this isn't clear either.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the ladies from Sentimental Values are gonna win, I'm afraid. It's a great movie. I think the fact that they're against each other in this category is unfortunately against them. The fact that there's two actors from the same movie, they're campaigning against each other, I think it just doesn't bode too well. But good on them for being nominated, especially for a film that is not entirely in the English language. It's a lot harder to get attention from the Oscars or the American awards in general. Oh, I don't know. You're right. This is quite tricky. I'm gonna go for Tiana Taylor for One Battle After Another because I think we have to get ready for a somewhat of a One Battle After Another sweep that happened like at the BAFTAs. I think it might happen again on a Nora Part 2,
Yeah.
but with One Battle After Another.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're having another. Who was James Cameron's former wife again? What was her name again? The director. Oh, and it was a way back when James Cameron, I think, maybe just released the first Avatar. She released that film. Oh, what was his name? Oh, what was his name? They get the film where they worked for the American Army and they were bomb disposal. They had to get in with the big suits. And everyone was saying James Cameron's movie was going to win, sweep the board, and ended up being his ex-wife. Excuse me a minute, I'm going to type that in. I am determined to find out her name. Let me see.
Catherine Bridgelow.
Yes. What
I
was that?
didn't know they were married.
They
She
were.
did oh, what's it called? Oh my God. It came out of Venice.
Well, she did Zero Dark 30. It was a Hurt Locker. I think might have been the movie that she was up against her then ex-husband, James Cameron. I mean, she's done some great movies, you know. I mean, Point Break as well, the original Point Break. That's great. A lot of people like Zero Dark 30. I know some people think that's a comedy, but I'm not going into details with that. I am thinking,
Well, she's done House of Dynamite this year because I know it
yes.
premiered in Venice. I haven't seen it, but I heard really contrasting opinions on it. So.
It
Um,
was okay.
have you?
I watched it on Netflix. It was okay. It was like a 3-star movie for me. It wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't great, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, I like the sort of whole setup of the way the film's seen it from different perspectives, you know. The Kurosawa effect there. It was at the Seven Samurai. So yeah, so you're going for Tiana Taylor. I'm going for Amy
Yes.
Madigan. Amy Madigan. She's won some of the awards for the supporting actress. Probably more your sort of genre, more themed ones, but no, she was very, very good. So let's do the best supporting actor. We have Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, and Delroy Lindo for Sinners. What do you think might be the winner there?
Again, quite tricky. I think Delroy has won the BAFTA, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Stellan or Jacob Elordi have won any of like the big awards, if I'm not wrong. But I personally really like both. Like if it was up to me, it would be either Jacob Elordi or Stellan Skarsgård. I think I don't know. Jacob Elordi has quite a lot of screen time to be a supporting actor, but
Yeah.
that's a conversation for a different day. I am not sure between the Roy Lindo and Benicio del Toro. I'm gonna go for Benicio del Toro because I'm aware of what we mentioned before about the Oscars kind of not liking the horror genre quite as much.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sticking with my one battle after another sweep.
Do you know what? I've never really been a big fan of Sean Penn. Nothing to do with. I know, unfortunately, in America, politics is sort of taking over, and there's depending on your political values, your views might depend on who if you like this actress or actor. I've never been a big fan of Sean Penn's. To me, he was fine in One Battle After Another. I did like Benicio del Toro better in that, but I'm wondering if Stellan Skarsgård might be the dark horse here. Only reason I say that is because I think when Parasite won all the awards, sort of opened a new can of worms at the non-English language films.
True.
The only really difference with them is the language they're spoken in, so they can equally go up against the main Hollywood movies. However, it goes into another argument. It's not a Hollywood movie, you know. Sense so. Let me see. I'll go for Stellan Skarsgård in sentimental value, you know, for that one. Right. So we'll do one more, and then we'll do the some little fun facts that I've got. It's another one of the biggies. It's the best director. Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another, Ryan Coogler for Sinners, Chloe Zhao for Hamnet, Joseph Safdie for Marty Supreme, Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value. I'll go first here. I think I think it's either his 14th or 15th attempt trying to win an Oscar. I think it's just got to be Paul Thomas Anderson. He's been win anywhere else the film has been up for award. He's the one that seems to be winning majority of them. I think if Sinners happens to win the best film, this is sort of sometimes seen as the big runner-up prize, the best director, the best actor type thing. Yeah, I think this could be another safe bet is Thomas Anderson. What about yourself?
I agree. Paul Thomas Anderson has been winning most of the best directing in the other awards. Like you said, it feels like it's due. This is something that appeals to the Academy quite a lot. Like his, long career in filmmaking. I think they would feel perhaps that something like somebody like Ryan Coogler or Joe Safdie are quite young filmmakers in that
Yeah.
sense. They don't have quite the same career that PTA has. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that too. I think you're right about like perhaps giving Best Actor to Sinners, like they did with The Brutalist last year as a sort of consolation prize, and then going for the big like directing and Best Picture for One Battle After Another. I think that's might be what's gonna happen, and I'm sure it's gonna win directing. But I do want to give a shout out to Chloe Zhao for Hamnet. It's not often that we see women directors nominated in this category, and I'm very happy that she was because it was a good film and she's an incredible director.
Yeah, and I believe she's the first woman to win the biggest amount of nominations. I don't know if it was just in the Oscars, but awards. of
Oh,
all our female
no.
compadres. I believe so. I believe she's won the most nominations out of them all. I mean, so yeah, it'd be nice for the British side for her to win it. As I've mentioned on the People's Movies social media and that, and between the writers, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. There was just something about it I didn't like about the film, but I recognised, as in our recent since Nomadland, this has probably been our best film since. I don't know. I don't think I get onto the emotional side of Hamlet. I know a lot of people get a bit tearful about it, but yeah, shouts out to Chloe Zhao. So you've been listening to episode 56 of the Chronicle, which is the Oscar special. Myself and Clotilde, we are just going through what we think, previewing the Oscars, which happened Sunday night, 15th of March. I'm just going to go through a little fun facts. Some fun facts I found here, Clotilde. The BBC posted an article about 17 facts about some of this year's Oscar nominated things. So according to the BBC, I think Zootropolis, I think it's called Zootropolis 2. According to them, it is the highest grossing nominated film, and it's taken a staggering 1.86 billion, which is about 1.4 billion in UK money worldwide. But what they're also saying is the animated feature has a different. Oh well, we know it's a different title in the US. It's Zootopia. It's all due to a zoo in Denmark, the Geese Skud Zoo, which has the trademark of Zootopia, which they got in 2009, which was 7 years before the first Zootropolis came out. Other box office smashes with films that get nominated this year actually were Avatar, Fire and Ash, which made about $1.48 billion, which is just over a 1 billion in UK, and F1, which made, excuse me, 632 million, which is just around about 472 million in British money. Do you know that Emma Stone has broken two records this year? So she's what the BBC is saying, she's aged 37 and she's the youngest woman to earn seven Oscar nominations. And
Seven? Wow.
yes, she's overtaken Meryl Streep, who was 38 when it happened.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. So she's the only actress to first have the first five Oscar nominations of all her films, which were all nominated for Best Picture, which was now a space of 11 years. So she's obviously recognising the roles for Birdman, The Favourite, Begonia, La La Land, and Poor Things. I definitely liked the Birdman and that one. The rest I can come and go. We've got some. Another fact is, do you know Frankenstein has been 2 centuries in the making, as in the sort of film? So there's like a 207-year gap between Mary Shelley's 1818 novel and Guillermo del Toro's 2025 film, which was made for Netflix. And that's what they're saying is one of the biggest gaps between source material and film adaptations in Oscar history. But there is a few others. You've got Tom Jones, which was out in 1963, but the original novel came out in 1749, 214 year gap. There's one that I'm questioning. The 1996 version of Hamlet, which obviously was based in the 1601 play, they're saying 395 years, but obviously Hamlet now. And then Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, which came for 2000, which is based in the legendary Greek poem, The Odyssey, which obviously Christopher Nolan's given us in the biggest screen ever, IMAX this summer. That was written around 700 BC, which gives it a 2,700-year gap. But a few other facts. Do you know Chase Affinity is Cinema in Their Blood? Do you know the one battle of it after another start? It must have been destined to be in a film. So she's actually named after Nicole Kidman's character for the 1995 Batman Forever. Chase Meriden.
That's
Uh,
cool.
yep, and Buzz Lightyear's catchphrase in Toy Story to infinity and beyond. Do you know, before I even knew that, that was when I keep hearing her name, I kept saying infinity beyond.
Mhm.
You know, there's a couple other facts in that, and then we'll go back to the actual rest of the preview. Several nominees are very loyal to their directors, and four of this year's leading acting nominees have been recognised for films that they've done with directors that have been long-time collaborators. Ethan Hawke with Richard Linklater. The two of them have made 9 films together. And then there's Michael B. Jordan with Ryan Coogler. They've made
Mhm.
5. Then Emma Stone with Yorgos Lanthimos. They've made 5. And then Renata Renesev and Joachim Trier, excuse me. So that's Renata Renesev and Joachim Trier. They've made 3 together. So I've got one other fact, and then we'll go back, and that's there is several nominees have had a bit of an Oscar break. So one that you mentioned earlier there is Kate Hudson, the Sung Sung Blue star. She was nominated for the obviously for that film for the first. That's the first time in 25 years that she's actually been nominated. And then there's the one battle after another star, Benicio del Toro. His nod comes 22 years after his last. And then there's Weapon star Amy Madigan. Meanwhile, she is nominated for the second time, and that's 40 years ago since she last was nominated, and that was the aptly named Twice in a Lifetime. She's not far behind Judd Hirsch, holds a record of 42 years between nominations with Ordinary People in 1981 and The Fablemans in 2023. So that's some fact, folks, that the BBC have done. There's about 17 in total. If you head over to the BBC website, you'll get the rest of them there. So let's go back to our films. So we're going to do the actual Best International feature. And I'll be honest, I've never seen any of them. There's Sentimental Value, It Was Just an Accident, Secret Agent, The Voice of Hind Rajab, and Sirat. Which one of them, Clotilde? I know you've seen a few of them.
Mhm.
If you want to give us a little lowdown, which you think could be the one that could win it.
I've seen all of them actually.
Oh,
Yeah, it is one of the categories I've seen all the nominees in. I really like the international feature film category. It's one of those that, really spotlights films that I think the Oscars or the other American awards don't usually consider as much. But it's good to see there's been a change in recent years. Like Sentimental Value has been nominated in some of the
yeah.
major categories as well. Having that said, I do think Sentimental Value is going to win because it's been nominated in other categories. This happened with Parasite, which famously had the first non-English film win Best Picture. But I feel like every time a non-English film has been nominated in international feature film and other categories, it's always done really well. Like I'm Still Here, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Flow even. So I really do think it was Sentimental Value is going to win. But I think all of the films on this list are really good. They're really worth seeing. I personally would like It Was Just an Accident or The Voice of Hinder Job to win as well, especially The Voice of Hinder Job because of how powerful it is and how important his commentary on what's happening in Gaza
Mm,
is, especially, with everything that's happening in the world right now. But I unfortunately, and I do think this is a bad thing, I think how political it is might push the Academy voters away. I know they tend to be a little political and to make statements, but the voice of Rajab is a really big statement in Trump's America in 2026.
yeah.
I'm not quite sure they're going to go for that. After all, the film doesn't have a US distributor,
Yep.
which is crazy considering that it won, one of the jury prizes in Venice, and it has a UK distributor and distributor in a lot of the major countries. So I think that indicates that the American public maybe it's not quite ready for it, or maybe doesn't want to get in trouble. But yes, I do think Sentimental Value is going to win, and it's a wonderful movie, so I'm happy about it.
Yeah, that's probably what you said. It's winning at other, it's in other nominations, and it's doing well, done well at other award ceremonies. that's the one I think will probably do well because what was it, The Worst Person in the World, which Joachim Trier's last film.
Hmm.
I believe that did well. That was about 4 or 5 years
That's
ago.
true.
That did well, and he is a favourite in the sort of foreign category. There's well, especially the ones with would you say Middle Eastern or the like the Palestine, Gaza, things like that. It's very touchy subject. However, Donald Trump is not the biggest fan of the Oscars, so it could be seen as a
Yeah,
protest against him letting one of Rose win it. As you said, the voice of hint hijab. You talked about that at the end of December into January about it not having a distributor, and it still hasn't. It was just an accident with it being it's Iranian in it. It was
yeah,
just an
that's
accident.
true. That
That
might push voters even more in that direction if they want to make a political statement
yeah,
against Trump.
yeah, that could be that. But as in because it's got actors in it which have appeared in Hollywood, quite a lot of them have, not necessarily big films, but they've appeared in Hollywood movies. Sentimental value will probably be the one that'll win it. So let's go into the best film, the best picture, or the best feature. There's quite a few in this list. There's a few of them I haven't seen. We have One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Frankenstein, Sentimental Value, Train Dreams, Begonia, Secret Agent, and the surprise edition that is F1. I think this one is a tricky one. This could be one with if Sinners and One Battle After Another are winning all the other awards, it could be one of them, but also could be the one uh, big award which one of the other films could win. This is where Hamnet or Marty Supreme could potentially take it. I've not seen Train Dreams. I've seen the trailer. I've got it in my Netflix list. It looks gorgeous. My friend just away to see it at tonight. F1 is probably the one that no one was expecting to see,
Absolutely not.
but it's gone back to the sort of old-fashioned fashion sense of things, with Hollywood like the old-fashioned blockbuster type movies. It's a popcorn movie. It's leave your brain in the box. Just go in, enjoy the ride, and then leave. That's basically what it is. Yeah, it could do well in any of the sort of technical side of things, Any awards it's up for that. I believe it's up for one or two. This is a hard one. It'll probably be one battle after another, but I would like to say Sinners actually. What about you?
I agree. I would like to see Sinners, but I think it's going to be one battle after another. I do think Sinner has a shot, given how much the Academy liked it in the nominations round,
Yeah,
but I'm going to say one battle after another.
yeah. Sinners is they're just going to hark onto that. It's a horror movie, but as you
Yeah,
know, and folks, look down at the library of the Chronicle. Myself and Clotilde reviewed it when it came out in the cinema, and both of us liked it. We reviewed it again in the best of films episode, and it's not an outright horror. I think it's several genres.
yeah.
A historical drama. It's a crime drama. Even you can say it's a musical.
I was going to say it has elements of musicals as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and it's a horror. I don't know about you, Clotilde. I think the weakest part of the film is actually the horror part. I think it's a bit too generic. I don't know about you.
See, I don't like horror, so that works quite well for me.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, to a certain extent, I think you're right. I really don't see how this would be marketed as a horror. I think it has elements of horror in the sense of like camera work and perhaps like traditional elements of the genre. But I think it's more of like what you said, like a historical drama. And it's Ryan Coogler, so it is a social film. It's about like injustice as well and discrimination and
yeah,
race. So it's so many things.
yeah. Right. So we're gonna before we go. what we're going to do for the rest of them, folks, as I mentioned earlier in the podcast, there's hell a lot of awards. Before we go into the rest of them, sorry, what we'll do for the ones, I'll read them out, read who the nominations, Clotilde, pick what one you think will win it. If you've got a few words to say about it, go for it. Same with myself, and we'll go through them. But before that, what we're going to do is Clotilde. Is there anything, any Oscar snubs that shocked you? That,
Yes, I think I mentioned it before, but Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee, I don't understand how she didn't get nominated. I generally thought she was one of the strongest performances of the year. Obviously we all knew. I think
yeah,
as we watched Hamlet, we all knew Jessie Buckley was gonna win. But I think Amanda Seyfried should have been nominated. It feels to me like the performance of her career so far, and I think that should have been honored. I feel like in general, The Testament of Anne Lee was quite snubbed, which is quite surprising to me, given that the Academy loved the Brutalist so much, and essentially
yeah,
it's the same team behind the Testament of Unli. You have to wonder. I mean, I know they have prejudice against musicals, which I'm sure played against the film. We talked about how films directed by women tend to get less attention, especially in the directing category. I think all of these things played a part in it. It wasn't campaigned or marketed really well, so it's all of that. But it's a shame. I really thought it would get a little bit more. I also thought Frankenstein would get a little bit more love in the main categories. I would have liked to see that. I really like Frankenstein. I know it was nominated quite a bit in the technical categories, and as we said, in Best Picture and Best Supporting Actor, but it just feels like there's been quite a few snubs in
yeah.
there, I believe. I think those are mine biggest snubs. What about you?
Yeah, I totally agree with you with the Testament Lee. I wasn't the biggest fan. Folks, I've been confusing all the writers. I've been calling it Monty Python does David Bowie's Black Star. Black Star was David Bowie's last album, but it was also the first song in it would get released from the album. And there's a lot of dance. There's dance scenes within the video. It's a 10 minute, it's near enough 10 minute song. And every time I seen it, it was quite comical. The dancing part was the bit it just got to me. I totally agree on the acting side. Yeah, it's probably Amanda Seyfried's strongest. I can see why it wasn't. What I get, it was quite a. I think also it was the because it's. I think the Oscars films are good at highlighting fascinating stories. This was quite a fascinating story. However, I think the religious factor may have went against it, and plus it wasn't one of like say the traditional faiths, no the older faiths. It's a it's a fairly new faith. I think it's 18th century, the Quakers and the Shakers, and it probably the a lot of the Academy voters get maybe felt a little bit alienated about it. It's a bit of a strange base. It is the narrative's very unconventional, and they probably thought it was a bit too experimental. The next one, I thought was a surprise, but I can see why they never done it because he is not the star in the movie. It's Paul Mescal, even though he plays the great bard William Shakespeare. Jessie Buckley is the main star. It's her film. This one, as I mentioned when we done the films, the best films. F1. It divided critics. I enjoyed it. I know it won't win any of the big nominations, but it's a old-fashioned popcorn film, and it seems that the Academy still like them. Another one. I wasn't a fan of the first film, but the first film get 10 nominations last year and vote only won two. That was Wicked. So I was quite
Oh, yes,
surprised
you're right.
Wicked for Good never
Big
got.
snubs.
Yeah.
But
Despite
the Academy doesn't like sequels and doesn't like musicals. So,
yeah. Yeah, even though it had the mixed reviews, but get the fans' response.
yeah.
You know, that's what I saw in that. Things, comments you like to make about this part? And we'll
No,
get to
I forgot about Wicked, but you're right. That was a big snub. I think people were expecting to see a bit more considering the success it had last year.
right. So let's do the rest of them. The nominations, as I said, I'll read the feature out in the nominations. You just let us know what you think of them. If you want to say a few things about them, that please go ahead. So, best animated feature, we had K-pop Demon Hunters, Arco, Zootopia 2 or Zootropolis 2, Little Amelie, or the character of Ren in Elio. I am actually going to go for K-pop Demon Hunters.
Absolutely, me too.
Yeah, I think Arco won it in the BAFTAs.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that one. Best original screenplay: Sinners, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value. It was just an accident and blew in. What one do you think?
This one's a bit tricky. I think I'm gonna say Sinners because the Academy liked it and I believe it won the BAFTAs.
Yeah, yeah. I'm going to go for Sinners. Best adapted screenplay: One Battle After Another, Hamnet, Train Dreams, Begonia, and Frankenstein. Hamnet.
Me too. And I
Yeah.
would be really happy with that too.
Yeah. So, best documentary feature. I have not seen any of these. Uh, I think I recognise one of them. Come See Me in the Good Light, Mr. Nobody Against Putin, The Alabama Solution. The one I think it's on Netflix, The Perfect Neighbour, and then Cutting Through Rocks. I have no clue about any of these. I'll say Perfect Neighbour. What about yourself?
Mr. Nobody Against Putin. I think it had, in my opinion, the biggest campaign behind it of
Yeah.
these in terms of press anyway. But I just remember the snap, which is the new Laura Porter's documentary Cover
Yeah,
Up. I wish that had been nominated.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Next one, Best Original Song. We've got Dear Me, Diane Warren, Relentless, Golden, K-pop Demon Hunters, Highest to Lowest, I Lie to You, Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy, Viva Verde, Train Dreams. I think it would be the Sinners one, maybe. It's one I can recognise. I Lie to You, however, K-pop Demon Hunters is so popular, especially in America. What about you?
I would like to see Sinners, but I think it's gonna be Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah. So for the best original score, we get Begonia, Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Hamnet. I think it'll be one. I want it to be Sinners,
I think it
but
has to be Sinners.
yeah,
But Frankenstein would be a really good option too. I think he has a wonderful score.
yeah. And One Battle After Another could potentially, because it's Johnny Greenwood and his scores have been absolutely fantastic. So next one is cinematography. Frankenstein, One Battle After Another, Sinners, Train Dreams, Marty Supreme.
I think it's between Sinners and One Battle After Another, like many other awards. Like I said, I'm going for One Battle After Another sweep, so One Battle After Another. If I was voting, it'd be Frankenstein.
Yeah. I think it'd be one of the two. One Battle After Another, I think won the BAFTAs, and I'll go with that. However, from the trailers that I've seen, Train Dreams looks gorgeous, looks a gorgeous movie, so that could potential underdog. So, best visual effects, you've got Avatar, Fire and Ash. I feels weird actually reading an Avatar movie at the an Oscars. Sinners, F1, The Lost Bus, Jurassic World Rebirth. My God, it gets worse. Which, which one do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's either Sinners or F1. I think it might be F1 because that's like the category that can win. And I
Yeah,
think they wanna, considering it's nominated in Best Picture, I think they're gonna want to give at least one award to F1.
yeah. Best film editing, F1, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, Sinners, and Sentimental Value. Thinking I could be F1 again. I think it won the BAFTA, I'm not 100% sure. Or was that
I think
Ham?
this one could be Mighty Supreme.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be.
I think he
Could
won a
be.
Golden Globe, right?
I think so, yes. Yeah, let's go for Marty Supreme. Best costume design, Avatar and Fire and Ash, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Sinners, Marty Supreme. I mean, the Frankenstein, I'm going to go for Frankenstein because
Yeah.
that was
Costume
gorgeous.
has to be Frankenstein. I will not accept another result.
Yeah. So, best sound, Sarat, F1, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Frankenstein. Which one do you go for?
I think this one's between Sinners and F1. In fairness, I didn't like F1, but it had a really good sound. I'm gonna
Yeah,
go F1. I think they're gonna They're gonna do technical categories a bit different and not do a sort of sweep. So
Yeah,
that's
I'll
fun.
go F1 as well, yeah. Best production design, that's Frankenstein, Marty Supreme, Sinners, One Battle After Another, Hamnet.
This is hard. I would like to see Frankenstein, but I'm gonna go for Sinners.
Right, yeah, Sinners. Right, next one is best makeup and hairstyling. We get the Japanese movie Kakohu, Sinners, The Smashing Machine, The Ugly Stepsister, the horror movie, and Wicked for Good.
Frankenstein, I think.
No, Frankenstein's not actually on this.
No?
No,
Well, it should have been.
yeah, ooh,
In that case, Sinners, I think.
yeah. Well, Wicked for Good could potentially
Could
get it.
do, because it's the only nomination, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've got a couple of short ones now. The best live action shot. I've never seen any of them. Butcher's Stain, the Singers, two people exchanging saliva, a friend of Dorothy, Jane Austen's period drama.
Well, I haven't seen any, but if I had to pick a friend of Dorothy, I think it's the one I've heard more about.
Yeah, I think I've heard more about that one as well, and the Jane Austen's the other one. Next one's the best animated short. That's The Girl Who Cried Pearls, Three Sisters, Butterfly, Forever Green, Retirement Plan. Ooh, let's go for Three Sisters. I've never seen any of them.
I, again, haven't seen them, so I'm gonna go based on what I've heard more about, what I've heard talked about, and I'm gonna go with Retirement Plan.
Yep. Best documentary short, All Empty Rooms, Armed and Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud, Children No More, Where We Are Gone, The Devil Is Busy, Perfectly Strangeness. I never heard of any of them. Let's go for All Empty Rooms.
I'm gonna go with All the Antrooms as well because it's a film that has to do with school shootings, which we know is quite a sensitive topic in the
Yeah.
US. And I think people in a way relate to quite a bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're recording this on Friday the 13th in the evening, and I think there's been another shooting in America. I think it was Michigan. Don't get me wrong, I might be the wrong place, so unfortunately, history's repeated itself there. Going for the new award and the final one, and that's the best casting. Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, or Sinners.
This is tricky because it's a new award, so we're not really sure which direction it's gonna go in.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say Sinners.
yeah, I'll go for Sinners as well. So that's all the awards, folks. You've heard myself and Clotilde's choices. Do you agree with them? If you don't agree with them, if you're watching this and listening to this in the website, the People's Movies, why not leave a comment down there? That is a wrap for episode 56 of the Chronicle, your preview. Here in the UK, you can watch the ceremony on ITV or STV in Scotland and UTV in Ireland, Northern Ireland, or in ITVX. This year's host is Conan O'Brien. He's hosting the event, and I think coverage will start round about 10:15 on Sunday the 15th, and it's usually round about Monday morning. That's when everything starts to kick off. Remember to check out the People's Movies website. We will hopefully have a roundup the following day with who's won, who hasn't won. Keep an eye on social media. I think something's going to happen on social media through the night. But also head over to the website because we've got quite a few of the films reviewed are nominated there. Clotilda, thank you very much for joining us. Would
Thank you.
you like to share with the listeners where they can read and your reviews and any work you've done online and obviously any social media?
Of course, I'm gonna start with the reviews. I write for Loud and Clear Reviews. I've done quite a lot of TV the past couple of months for them. I, of course, write for the People's Movies. I
Okay.
also write for Movie Marker. I write for Film Hounds, where I'm the festival editor, so I guess you can expect some festival coverage from me. And I have written for Little White Lies, hoping to get back on that. Uh,
Nice.
you can find me on Instagram at the Perks of Being Chloe. I guess you can find me on Twitter at Films with Chloe, but I haven't used it in months. Follow me there, I guess.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I'm not very good with social media lately.
Yeah, for the People's Movies, there is a Chronicle Instagram. I need to really update that myself. I've been doing everything in People's Movies. The Instagram is at the People's Movies. Over at Facebook and Twitter or X, it's at The People's Movie. YouTube, we have a channel where you find loads of interviews and trailers and lots of the episodes for the Chronicle and Chronicle Take Two over there. That's at thepeoplesmovies.com. You can also find episodes of the Chronicle where you get your favourite podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and Podbean. Podbean is our main host for the podcast. Sometimes we will continue chat with the Chronicle Take Two. Stay tuned on social media and at the website, The People's Movies, for future episodes. One way you can find out also is sign up for the newsletter where you'll learn about the future episodes and all the news and all the views and reviews for the site. Head over to the website, the link is on the main page. You can also show your support for the Chronicle and the People's Movies with Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal and Patreon. You will find the links over at the website. Do remember to follow, like, rate and share the episodes where you get your favourite podcasts. We are a small podcast, and you doing this will help us get out to even more people. Thank you very much, Clotilde, for joining us, and thank you very much for you folks. Until the next episode, enjoy the movies.